It's Mack. Welcome back. Episode 43 of Icebreaker. AJ, how are you?
Good. We took a little hiatus because we both really believed in the Winnipeg Jets last week and watched the game instead of recording a podcast. And then we were kind of bummed. So I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, me too. And we'll get to that in just a second. Before we move on, I just want to say the Icebreaker Show is presented by Tribute Digital. If you're looking to transform the growth of your business, then Tribute will provide you with proven online marketing solutions customized to achieve your goals. Visit them at tribute.com/ice. That's tribute.com with two B's /ice. And as we always say to make it stick, we like things with two of the same syllable right in a row.
I'm
Um,
changing my name to AJJ at some point once this show gets big enough.
yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, back to the Jets. I mean, we were it went into overtime and we thought, you know what, we're gonna do it here. And then when it ended, it was no go. Wouldn't have been a good episode. So we went with that. And before we even get into the show here, I'm just gonna throw out my hot take here, my Manitoba Building Trades hot take early.
Right off the bat. Okay.
And that is, I think the Montreal Canadiens are going to be swept by the Vegas Golden Knights. And as it sits here tonight, the game is just starting, so we don't know. But an interesting point was brought to my attention right before I walked into the room here to record it.
Sure.
Now, bear with me here. Could this be the first time ever, and I don't have any stats on this, that a team that swept the first round then got swept in the second round, and the team that did that is going to get swept in the third round? Is this what's happening?
We're going to need to get our statistician on it, but I would be willing to bet that in my lifetime, at least, I've never seen that happen.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it?
Hit us up on Twitter if it's actually happened, because I promise you we're not going to look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a crazy hot take. So in that vein, not to knock Montreal, I kind of hope you get this one.
Yeah,
I just want to see that. I always want to see that happen, right?
I think it would mean neat. And before we move on any further, it's just Manitoba Building Trades hot take. It's not just any project. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. It's about building something great for Manitoba. And that's why you turn to the talent and craftsmanship of Manitoba's expert tradespeople. Manitoba Building Trades is Manitoba's unionized construction industry. Productive labor is our business with over 10,000 skilled trade professionals. We build what others can only imagine. To visit mbtrades.ca and come build with us. I really want this to happen.
There's a squirrel out my window. I don't know if it's picking up. It really wants it to happen. Everybody wants it to happen now.
Everybody does.
A hot take.
Well, that's why we call them hot takes. And what are we, like 2 for 42? I guess.
If I know anything about this show, Montreal's going to win tonight.
They're going to win the series. That's for sure. Did you happen to see the golf on the weekend?
I was golfing. I golfed all weekend. What happened? I had read a couple headlines, but I'm not clear. So you can explain it right here.
Jason Hadley had like a big lead. And the final pairing were 1-2, right? And this guy from South Africa, second start on the PGA Tour, shot 4 rounds in the 60s and finished way before them. And he finished at -11 in the clubhouse. So Hadley's, I know for a fact on 16, Hadley is at 13 under, 2 strokes in the clear. And before that, at one point, he had a 5-shot lead on Sunday.
Now he's down to 2 strokes by 16.
16. So he bogey 16. He's down to 1 stroke.
Oh, no.
Bogey 17. Even. Bogey's 18, loses. The guy who's warming up, he gets word, he just puts his hands up on the driving range. Like, it was an all-time collapse. Like, I feel bad for him, but like, you're a professional golfer. Like, you got to close a tournament.
Those are some of the best tournaments to watch, though, is when the guy who wins is in the bleachers because he finished so dang long ago.
That's what happened. AJ, I'm not lying to you. On 18, his approach shot,
yeah,
he was so rattled, he hit his approach shot into the grandstand.
No, come on.
It bounced back. Like, I was watching this and I was like, this is like me playing golf, just unraveling.
I don't know how you guys do it when you go out as the foursome. We don't share the front 9 scores. No, you don't want to know who's in the lead. You don't want to know what your score is. Just play through. Play your game.
And there's benefit to that. There really is. That That was crazy. Had to bring that up. Um, Another thing, LeBron, first time in what, forever that he is out of the NBA playoffs. I know we're a little late on this, but like we said, we had to take a hiatus. We were upset.
So what are you thinking about LeBron? Is it a weird sort of off year that he's not in the finals? You're shaking your head. Maybe there's more to this.
I think he's done it. We put a poll up on Icebreaker Show Twitter, and the followers tend to agree that his reign he's over. And you know what? Obviously, he was a great player, but his body language in that round was just like not great, not
Yeah.
leadership qualities in my opinion. It was more complaining, babyish. I think he's done. I think he's sick of it.
And I think history has proven that once you make a Space Jam movie,
You're done.
you're kind of pulling the pin.
It's over, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see. I feel like LeBron's the type of guy who, if he hears this type
You're
of
right.
chatter that he's done, he was going to prove everybody wrong. He wants one more.
The Michael Jordan, and I took that personally.
He takes it personally. He wants one more. He wants two more.
Yeah.
He wants three more. You get the gist of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it all depends how he reacts to the news because everybody's chattering about it. So I could see LeBron making a big splash, but maybe only once more.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, that brings us to our most fun part of the show, and that is trivia, where we like to embarrass each other. So what do you got for me today?
This is kind of cool. I went with some generic trivia and I was looking up some questions, and I think this one's going to be fun to play along with. A lot of these questions, there's 5 of them, they have to do with terminology, different terminology in different sports.
Okay.
And so I'll start you with this one. How many times have you bowled, Mac?
Like since I was like, call it 20. How many times have I bowled since I was 20?
Well, you tell me. Have you ever done this, Mac? What do you call it when a bowler makes 3 strikes in a row?
There's
term for that.
in a row. Well, I don't know, and I'm going to go with the only bowling term I know other than a strike, and that's a par.
Par. That's not a bowling term. It's the one bird that golf didn't take. It's the turkey.
The turkey.
When you bowl 3 strikes in a row.
I didn't mean to say par. I meant to say spare.
Spare.
That's what I meant to say.
That answers my question about you going bowling. All right, Matt. Question 2. I know you've got it. What have you done when you have earned an eagle in golf?
What have you done when you've earned an eagle in golf?
What do you do? What have you done when you shoot an eagle on any hole in golf?
200 par.
200 par. That is correct. Put the dings in there. We need to get dings, even though we don't get a lot of questions right.
Yeah.
Question 3, Mac. In which winter sport? Think about this one because I think it's obvious. In which winter sport are the terms stale fish and mule kick used?
Winter sport is
in the Olympics.
In the Olympics. Stale fish.
Yeah.
And what was the last one? Mule kick?
Mule kick.
Stale fish. I'm going to go with like skiing.
You're that close. Snowboarding is now in the Olympics.
Oh.
And that's where you'll see the stale fish.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I like this question because it reminds me of an old Nintendo 64 game. In baseball, what is a can of corn?
A can of corn.
Can of corn.
Wow.
Popular baseball term.
A can of corn. Pine tar? I don't know.
I'm marking down for an X already. It's an old-fashioned term in baseball for just a pop fly.
Oh, there you go.
Easy, you can't possibly drop it pop fly. And shout out to Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest, Nintendo 64. They had a guy named Can of Corn. And every time you hit that pop fly, the guy would say, well, there's a can of corn.
So one for 3?
What's that?
1 for 3?
One for 4 so far.
4.
Last question. I think it's tough.
Perfect.
Sport has earned the nickname the King of Sports.
The king of sports.
I want you to get this answer right, so I'm going to tell you it's very prevalent right now.
It's very prevalent right now.
Right now, in this time frame that we're in.
Football.
Football, did you mean football with a U? Because soccer is the correct answer.
I went football, European.
Yeah. Football. Euro Cup's on right now. Football known as the king of sports.
Hey.
There you go. There's some sports terminology education for you.
I actually went with football because I knew I had two shots at it. It was that it was like when you put the T and the F in a true or false. Let's hear what your teacher thinks.
It was either Euro Cup or fantasy football's coming up.
Yeah, that's
One
true.
of those two.
That's true. You know what else I thought was relevant is the CFL was announced today as a go. So also
that's huge.
Kind of relevant, right? So that's big time. Well,
CFL football is the real king of sports.
There you go. And we're going to get into that next week. Back to the Icebreaker show here quick. We got a great guest, third two-time guest on the show, and I thought it was fitting to bring him on ahead of this upcoming NHL draft where the Winnipeg ICE have a few guys ranked by Central Scouting, but Connor McClennon was drafted last year by the Philadelphia Flyers. So he sits in, talks about what it's been like since the bubble, what he did, what his draft day was like, and some tips passing along how he killed the time on draft day on a stressful day. So that's coming right up right after this. The Icebreaker Show is presented by Tribute Digital. If you're looking to transform the growth of your business, then Tribute will provide you with proven online marketing solutions customized to achieve your goals. Visit them at tribute.com/ice. That's tribute.com with 2 B's /ice. Joined by Winnipeg ICE forward and Philadelphia Flyer draft pick, and also happens to be our third two-time guest on the show, Connor McClennon. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Mack. How are you?
I am good. It's been unbelievably nice weather here in Winnipeg. I'm not sure about you in Alberta, but get outside. It's been pretty nice.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice here. Unfortunately, I've been in lockdown, so back in quarantine again, coming back from the States. But my brother and sister have been bragging to me how nice it's been. So hopefully, when I get out here on Wednesday, it'll still be that nice.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, we'll get to that state trip in just a second. First of all, what are your plans for the summer? Got a few months here until hockey season again.
First and foremost, kind of getting back in a routine, hopefully getting things back to normal. Being able to train in my gym and getting back on the ice and in normal circumstances, I guess would be the first thing. But no real plans, nothing too huge. I might go to Kelowna for a pep camp and see some friends there. And outside of that, kind of just hanging low and just preparing for the off season, I guess.
And I know last summer when we chatted on this show, you said you were a pretty good golfer. Is your golf game still at the level you'd like it to be?
I went a couple times in the States with rental clubs, little hit and miss. So I was kind of all over the map. I shot a 78 the one day and an 88 the next. So we'll see what it's really like when I get my clubs back here and go out on Wednesday.
There's been talks about an Icebreaker show live from the golf course and get as many guests as we can get on the course and record this because everybody seems to have a great golf game and we want to see if this is true. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty good. Hopefully you don't have Lambo on here because I know he's not the best golfer. I know he's working on his game, but just a little shout out to him there.
I have played golf with Lambo, and when he does get a hold of it, he can crush the ball.
I know. I played with him. We went to that same pep camp last year in Kelowna, and we went out a couple of times. He can hammer it, but he's not much of a mitts guy around the green. He's got to work on his touch.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that. Well, anyways, so you just wrapped up 24 games in the bubble. What was that whole experience like? Like, take us through that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and the town of Regina and the Pats, I guess, did a first class job kind of getting us set up. Obviously, you got to go through all the quarantine protocols and all the tests and stuff, but once you're done with that and you get on the ice with the guys for the first time in 14, 15 months, it was pretty fun just to even see everyone. And it was a long time since we were all together. And we had a really good year. I think everyone took some huge strides, and I think that just sets up for when we get back to normal next year, how excited we're going to be to go back to Winnipeg and see what our group's really going to look like.
Was it weird or better? I'm not even sure of the right word, but you play a game, you play a road game, you play a home game, but you're always going back to the same bed. Like there's no travel. Was there big time benefits in that?
I think that was one of the biggest benefits of playing in the bubble for sure. Especially for guys who play lots of minutes. I think it's a huge benefit. You can go out and play 20, 25 minutes. Like Ben Zloty was playing 30 minutes 5-6 games in a row there when our defense was depleted. But I think it's just a huge advantage to go back and get a good meal, and you can get a certain routine. I guess we were in a really good routine, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time. So I think that was definitely the biggest advantage. You're not on the bus. You're not staying in different beds. You can just get set up how you want. I think that was the biggest advantage for sure.
And from the outside looking in, I was surprised at how quick not only did you guys click as a team, but the rest of the teams. Like the hockey wasn't sloppy at all. Like even from game one, did that surprise you?
No, I mean, it's hard to say. I know lots of guys weren't on the ice. So I think everyone was just so amped up to get back on the ice, and everyone was so focused on becoming a team and wanting to do the best they can in these 24 games, because that's all we had. You didn't have time to ease into it. I think and Jeep did a really good job with that, only having 6 or 7 practice days or whatever we had just to push us to get better each and every time we were on the ice, even when we did have the 20-minute skate after back-to-back games, or just little things like that, just always pushing us to get better. Outside of the first game, I think the last 23 were we played some really good hockey. So I'm really looking forward to next year now.
And so you mentioned that you're quarantining, coming back from the States. So what was after the bubble for you?
So I guess after the last game there versus Regina, had our exit meetings and whatnot, and then that next day packed up, left Regina at 7 a.m. Got back to Wainwright at about 1 o'clock. Had lunch, unpacked, went and saw a little bit of family, and then repacked. And actually that next morning at 5:30, my dad drove me to the airport in Calgary and flew off to Philly, and then was down there for, I think, just exactly 1 month, to be honest.
And what was going on in Philly?
So I started off kind of easing into it, getting all your physicals done and meeting with their docs, just so they can get you clear. And then I think that took 4 or 5 days. And then I actually went down to the AHL team in Allentown, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. So got to spend 2 weeks there and was around the guys and got to see what the pro game was like. And I think that was kind of the biggest part of my trip, was kind of just see how pros do it, I guess. Seeing how responsible and how they treat their bodies and just the little things they do to get to that level, I guess. So that was my biggest thing, I guess. And got to be a part of the team, got to go to the year-end golf tournament and just got to spend it with the guys. So that was lots of fun. And then actually hung around in Philly for a week and got to meet some of the guys there and then flew home.
That sounds pretty cool. And now that you're a year removed of your draft year, can you take us back? What was that 2 days like from the outside looking in? Because you were right in there, sitting through it.
Yeah, it was honestly a pretty stressful couple days. I mean, the day the first round was going on, I was actually golfing and watching on the golf course. Got lots of my buddies got drafted, neighbors, Greg, Weisblatt, Goulet, all guys I've played some tournaments with. So it was cool to see lots of your friends and kind of just real to know that I'm not too far behind, I guess. So I'm kind of sitting there on day 2. Wasn't really just super focused on it. I was in the house all day, had it on. Was trying not to just sit and watch it too much, not put too much pressure on myself. Was hanging out with my brother, went out and played catch every once in a while, just to kind of take my minds off things. And then when your name gets called, it's just a super surreal feeling. Just hug your parents and thank them for what they did, and then get the phone call from them, and then instantly hop on a Zoom call and get rapid fire questions. But no, it was definitely a pretty cool day.
And I know from it's always said, whether you're drafted in the first round, the eighth round, you're drafted, you have your opportunity, right? You got your foot in the door. Is there anything that you can offer maybe teammates going through it this year, or have they asked just kind of mindset, how to go about it? Because there are a few guys on the Central Scouting list that do have a shot this year.
Yeah, definitely. I know. Talked with Karts a little bit about it. Talked with PD about it. I'm pretty close with both those guys. Kind of just told them. I mean, don't. Personally, the best thing I did was not have any expectations. Not go in thinking too much about it, or kind of pencil yourself in somewhere. Kind of just let it unfold, and that kind of is what helped me ease into it, I guess, and not get too stressed out about it. I know for Cars, he's going to be a first rounder. Not to put any pressure on him or anything, but he'll go high. And then for guys like PD and Mikey, and I know Z's not on Central Scouting, but he had a wicked year, and I wouldn't be surprised if he heard his name called. But we got some guys that'll get their name called for sure. And I guess my advice would be just don't have any expectations, just kind of go into it with an open mind.
And I'm just hearing that it kind of seems like the best feat of advice, because I know last year during yours, I was sitting there probably more engaged with the TV than you were from the sounds of it, just because I wanted to be right on it for the social media, the website, that type of thing. But I feel like I was sitting there, I was engaged. But that's a great piece of advice. One last thing for you here. Looking forward to next year. What are you excited about? And what can Ice fans be excited about with this team coming to play?
I think we kind of showed it this year too. I know we'll lose Krebsy, but just kind of the high power offense team that we have. Lots of skill up front in terms of guys who can score. I mean, Benny showed how good he can be at 15, and Geeks his first full year in the league, and getting Sav back. And then obviously I guess I'm considered an older guy now, so me, PD, Smalls, and Mikey, I guess, kind of guys who have been around, Mirzy. And I think we're just really excited to have had those 24 games, because lots of the guys were so young, and we didn't have a lot of guys who had a lot of games in the league. But to kind of gel, and I know we're losing Krebsy and Leps up front, which will be huge losses. But outside of those two, we're still a really deep team, and I really like our chances next year.
Oh, I couldn't have said it better myself. I know I'm looking forward to watching it. Well, thanks for the time, Connor, and hopefully have a great summer.
Perfect. Thanks, Mac. Appreciate it.
Well, that's going to just about do it for this week's episode of Icebreaker. Thanks again for tuning in, downloading, watching on YouTube, subscribing. It's all appreciated. Very much so. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on social media at Icebreaker Show with 2 W's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And hope everybody has a great week, and we will talk to you next week.